Hello YouTube! Welcome to episode 4 of Try Not to Cry, the series where I listen to songs suggested by you the viewer and do my best to not cry. If you have a song that you would like me to listen and react to, leave a comment below and let me know. Because I'm not trying to capitalize off of other artists' work, these videos are not monetized. If you want to help the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. It's the best way to help me and it doesn't cost you a penny. Also, a quick mental health check. If you're not doing okay mentally, especially if you feel like you might hurt yourself or somebody else, stop this video and go get help. Find a trusted friend, family member, medical provider, or call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline at 988. The world is a better place with you in it, and I'm so happy you're here. Alright, so keeping with tradition, we have kind of a random mix of songs today. It's really interesting to me, the variance in genres that get recommended to me. It shows me how diverse you guys are, and I really appreciate it. Today we have Blurry by Puddle of Mud, Absence by Rio Romeo, and Orpheus by Vincent Lima. Please support these artists and their official works. Alright, so we're starting with Puddle of Mud. This might be their most famous song. I've certainly heard it a million times. It came out in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. So we're actually gonna start with some dad rock that's a quarter of a century old. This recommendation comes to us from Scoot with a period. I never owned this album, but this was a big radio hit. It was pretty much impossible to turn on the radio in 2001, 2002 without hearing this song. I don't expect this one to get me, but we'll see. Without further ado, this is Blurry by Puddle of Mud. Classic intro. It's taken me back in time already. This is very well mixed for a song that's 25 years old. I already feel like I'm 14 again. Love the chord progression. Alright, that line right there. I wonder what you're doing. I imagine where you are. I don't want to get into a long-winded discussion about faith, but I have definitely found some comfort in the belief that when my daughter died, she didn't cease to exist. I believe this for a lot of reasons, but there's something about seeing a dead person that sort of like awakens an understanding in your heart. It's something that it feels like we were born knowing and then over time forgot. And when you see a dead body, you're reminded of it. And by it, I mean the fact that who and what we are is not these bags of meat that we occupy while we're here. Who you are, what you are, is in your soul. And I know that when I saw my daughter deceased, I knew it wasn't her anymore. I've often used the analogy, it was like I found her car parked on the side of the road, but it was empty and I knew that she had gotten out to continue the journey on foot. That's kind of how it feels to me. With that said, I do still think about her every day, all the time. And I do wonder how she's doing, and I do imagine where she is. Such a recognizable chorus. So part of this too, again, I've heard this song probably 500 times, but I've never really stopped to pay too much attention to the lyrics. But not only to me is this song about missing somebody just in general, but also sort of like having that longing for that person awaken a realization in you that the world is such a dull and colorless and unexciting place without that person. You start to pay attention to what the other people around you are doing because when you lose somebody, your world stops, but it seems like everybody else's just keeps turning. And that's a really cruel part of grief that people don't talk about very much. So I'm listening to these lyrics and feeling some of those feelings as well.
'Cause I am lost without you. What can I live at all? My whole world surrounds you. Stumble then I crawl.
Yep.
And you could be my someone. You could be my seed. Know that I will save you from all of the unclean. I wonder what you'll do.
All the time. This ocean's in between us, but that's not very far. In my case, the ocean is a metaphor for the rest of my life, because I do believe that when my time on this earth is done and I leave this body, that I will be reunited with my daughter and my brother. So what an interesting analogy to look at it that way, where, yes, it's an ocean. It's this huge, vast thing. I mean, I could be down here for another 50 years. I don't know. And the thought of going 50 more years without seeing my daughter is maddening. But at the same time, he says, that's not very far. And I know that even if I am down here 50 more years, it's going to go by quick. I'm going to get to the end of my rope and I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, oh yeah, that actually wasn't that bad. Such a good jam. I need to listen to more Puddle of Mud. Perfect leads in there. Perfect transition into this part. I don't think I've ever listened to this with headphones on either. It's so good. I'm just really enjoying this at this point. Good, strong, powerful outro. And then back to this. Okay. No tears. Definitely some emotional resonance from that, though. The biggest part of it, honestly, was just the nostalgia factor. I mean, again, I said in the last episode that dad rock tends to get me. I may or may not just like do an episode or two of just pure dad rock. Because again, the music that you listen to in your formative years, 13 to 17, is typically the music that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. So again, I'm transitioning from this song to the next with a raised level of energy, probably a raised sense of emotion, not really sadness. All right, so up next we have Absence by Rio Romeo. This recommendation comes from longtime channel friend Colin. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I had no idea who Rio Romeo was. I had never heard of this person. At a quick glance, it just looks like they're a non-binary artist who's been coming up in the last few years. I don't really know what to expect with this song. I don't even know really what genre we're talking about here when we say alternative or indie. So I'm looking forward to this. Without further ado, this is Absence by Rio Romeo. Okay, almost a show-tuney sort of piano.
If I leave tomorrow, would you be alright?
Oh boy.
Would you be filled with sorrow? Would you put up a fight?
Oh man.
How can I protect you when I don't feel alright? If I just vanished, do you think you'd manage, or would you disappear right beside me?
Very interesting so far. I don't want to use the word weird because weird isn't right, because weird has a connotation of being unpleasant, and this is not unpleasant. This is just like so very different than anything I would listen to normally or really have listened to on this channel. It is another one of those songs where the lyrics are that of almost despair, but sonically, it's this very high energy, upbeat, almost sounds like it's being played on a toy piano, and this person is just singing their heart out, like at a dirty, smoky piano bar kind of feeling.
Do you think you're ready when I go unsteady? Lover, please prepare for my absence.
Wonder if this is directed like to a romantic partner specifically.
If I left the country, would you search and search?
Big boomy percussion.
Or
I like
would
that.
you give up easy and find me in the dirt? Would I live forever or blend right into earth?
So much soul in the singing.
If I just vanished, do you think you'd manage, or would you disappear right beside me? Do you think you're ready when I go unsteady? Lover, please prepare for my absence.
Ooh. Okay, so I don't know again if they're using the word lover like just as a nickname as you do for somebody, or if it's meant in the literal sense. You know, again, it almost feels like all of this is being played on toy instruments, which isn't a bad thing. It really works for this style of music. I think the thing that so far I'm moved by the most is just the amount of emotion in the voice. Like they're just getting louder and deeper as the song goes on.
Absence makes a heart grow stronger. Pray my baby will not squander everything to gain by my leaving. And if I can return the favor, pray my baby always savors every moment we were both present.
Yeah, see?
Cause if I just vanished, do you think you'd manage, or
Back
would
down
you
low.
disappear right beside me? Do you think you're ready when I go
Now they're yelling.
unsteady? Lover, please prepare for my absence.
And then outro. Huh. All right, this is again one of those songs that I have to just like sit and reflect for a minute. I have to process what I just heard and what it made me feel. This is about somebody who's getting ready to say goodbye to somebody they care about. And so they're kind of asking these semi-rhetorical questions. You know, are you going to miss me when I'm gone, kind of a thing. There's definitely emotional resonance to this for me specifically. I do often wonder like what my daughter's last thoughts were before she died. I try not to think about that too much because I know that she was mentally ill. I know that she wasn't in her normal state of mind, and I believe that, you know, what she did was done on impulse and to a degree was done by accident. I think she was fooling around with self-harm and it got carried away. But I have often wondered, you know, who was she thinking about when she died? What was she thinking about when she died? And so this song kind of makes you go into that headspace. So it was not the easiest one. All right, so last but definitely not least, we have Orpheus by Vincent Lima. This is another artist that I am not at all familiar with. This recommendation comes from another longtime channel friend, Regis. Good to see you, dude. Some of these, if I see somebody who frequents my live streams or leaves a lot of comments, enough so that my brain remembers you, I will pay more attention to your recommendations. So if you have a song that you want me to listen to, I only do 3 songs per video, and I only roughly do one of these videos per week or so. So don't be afraid to leave the same comment on multiple videos to try to catch my attention. Again, I don't really know what we're getting into here. I don't really know what genre this is even going to fall into. Looking at the description of the video on YouTube, it just says a song about grief. Thank you all for being here. So without further ado, this is Orpheus by Vincent Lima. Oh, soft piano's not a good start.
How do you know which time might be the last?
Oh boy.
What I would give just to see you again. I'd walk to the depths of a world down below and demand to get back what some circumstance stole.
Oh,
I still
all right. This might be where my streak ends. I would demand to get back what circumstance stole. That's a huge thing about losing a child, is no matter the circumstances of your child's death, it's unnatural. It doesn't feel natural to outlive your child. So regardless of how your child passed away, the circumstances are not fair. And as a parent, it leaves this permanent void in your heart that you would do anything in your power to make right. You would do anything in your power to bring them back or see your child again. And unfortunately, the way this reality is designed, we just don't get that opportunity. But, oh, Regis, you're bringing the fire today, brother.
remember the last look of hope in your eyes. Oh, I wish I had stayed just a little while.
You guys got a great voice, too.
Open the door and I
Ooh.
went down the stairs. I turned back one last time just to prove you were there.
Critically speaking, I really like this sound choice. Again, he went with big sounds, which is something that can evoke a lot of emotion. Big, echoey percussion, big, thunderous snare, and many layered vocals to make it choral. These are all really smart choices, sonically speaking.
You said if you can see me, it's all in your head. But it feels to me now, it felt real to me then.
And back to just piano.
How do you know which memories to save? The very last footprint that Orpheus made. Cause the last ray of sun made your Odyssey cold. Did she know, did she know, did she know, did she know? I still remember the last look of hope in your eyes. Oh, I wish I had stayed just a little while.
Oh,
Open the door and I went down the stairs. I turned back one last time just to prove you were there. You said if you can see me, it's all in your head. But it feels real to me now, it felt real to me then.
this is the closest I've ever been to crying in these challenges. I have tears that are right there and they just haven't fallen yet. But this whole picture that he's painting, Regis, you jerk, about turning around one last time to make sure you were there. Such an important part of grief and such an important part of why I started this channel was because I was so scared that the world was going to forget about my kid. I knew very early on that memories of her it was all I was going to have left. And I was so worried about people not talking about her anymore. I was so worried about forgetting details of her. And that fear is especially powerful in early grief because you're in this brain fog the whole time. I mean, literally, when you go through a traumatic experience, your brain kind of just like stops working. I remember looking at a clock and not being able to tell the time, taking a shower and not being able to feel the temperature of the water, not being able to see color. You go through all these phases in early grief, and it's really like just your brain trying to protect you from the traumatic experience. But it also makes the possibility of forgetting your loved one feel very apparent, and it's terrifying. And over the last 2.5 years, I've come to learn that everything that I know and love about my kid, it's here, but it's also here. And I've been telling the story now for 2.5 years. And so at this point, I'm not really worried about losing the memory myself, I guess. But this concept right here is exactly why I put out the video, why I won't shut up about my dead kid. This is the biggest reason why I won't shut up about my dead kid.
I knew how it feel back then. I wouldn't take another step. I'd hold the moment until the end, but everything ends. Everything ends. But I opened the door and I went down the stairs. I turned back one last time just to prove you were there. You said if you can see me, it's all in your head. But it feels real to me now, it felt real to me then.
Does still feel real.
It feels real to me now, it felt real to me then.
I'm starting to think that making this series was a mistake. What an absolute unit of a song that was. I am still kind of just at a loss. I'm still just choked up. You know, it's like I was saying a little bit ago. This is what's so cool about this series is I'm getting to connect with you guys in a new way. It's one thing to come hang out on a live stream. It's one thing to leave a comment on a video telling me whatever. But when you recommend a song to somebody, it's your way of saying, hey, this is a song that touched me on an emotional level in one way or another. So it really is the closest thing to letting me take a peek into your soul. And it does take a degree of bravery and vulnerability to recommend a song, especially to somebody who's going to dissect it under an emotional microscope, right? Well, so far, Orpheus is the reigning champ, but again, tears did not fall. So by the skin of my teeth, challenged passed. Thank you to everybody who took the time to recommend songs. Again, there are so many in the comments, I can't go through them all at once, but if there's something you really want to see, just keep commenting, keep recommending it to me, and I promise I'll take a look at it. I think it's about time for me to turn the camera off and go lie down for a couple minutes. That concludes today's challenge. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one, and in the meantime, please take care, and remember to love yourself.